By the way, Ron Paul is doing the right thing. He's going on the attack against Mitt Romney and, of course, Rick Perry. He's going after him on their globalist record. Paul slams Perry as Al Gore's Texas cheerleader. That's at Infowars.com. We've got a bunch of other just amazing headlines that have just gone up. Chuck Norris warns of DHS war on white Americans. And the head of Homeland Security has come out and attacked Drudge Report. And, of course, that means us in part because a lot of those DHS articles criticizing her for TSA, of course, were our stories Drudge pushed out nationwide, for calling her a ogre. Well, he just showed ugly photos of her because she is ugly. And she went on to attack him and said, we're honest, the body scanners aren't a problem. Watson's got an article coming out that shows all of her lies. But more and more they're having to respond to us. I remember 3 or 4 months ago, the White House responded to our story dealing with energy issues. This really shows what a joke these people are, Gerald.
Of course they are. How could anybody believe them? Look at the spectacle that happened this past summer with the debt ceiling issue. It was the D.C. drama queens, the Democrats, against the Beltway circle jerks, the Republicans. How could any respectable person look to a politician like them and have think that they know more than they do? Again, as I've said over and over again, these politicians are no more than the people you hated in high school and college that wanted to become class president and head of the student council. That's all this is. It's Harvard, Princeton, Yale, bullets, bombs, and banks. And you were talking before about the Goldman Sachs gang and the report that came out. This is one big Ponzi scheme. They are suckering in the little people. Am I saying that? No. That came from the king of Ponzi, Bernie Madoff. February 27th, New York Magazine, a telephone interview. He said he learned 2 things when he got into the stock market business. Number 1, the game is rigged. And number 2, it's all a big Ponzi scheme. That's all this is. And by the way, gold prices today hit what? $1,922, and now they've fallen about $60. You're going to see wild swings in the markets. The higher the price goes, the greater the swing. And I have to tell you my greatest concern. I believe that they're going to do something, try something to regulate the supply and sale of gold, because they're going to blame people like myself and others who have been buying gold for years as a safe haven against the digital money that's not worth the paper it's not printed on, as being responsible for this crisis. Just as the Wall Street barkers and money honey shillettes are out there blaming socialism on the problems in Europe. I hear it every day. No, it's not the Societe Generale gang or the Deutsche Bank bandits or the Credit Suisse criminals.
No, they're even starting to try to blame Ron Paul. Do 5 more minutes with us, Gerald. We'll be right back. I want to get to more of your calls for those that are patiently holding, talking about the wildfires and the fact that Rick Perry and FEMA can't save you, won't save you. A bunch of other economic news. I've got a whole smattering of key things I want to get into. But, Gerald, I think you've hit on the heart of it here. If you see the internal Homeland Security training manuals going back at least 3 years, it's gun owners, libertarians, Ron Paul supporters, Bob Barr supporters, organic gardeners, anybody who wants to be self-sufficient, anybody who's been warning about what we see historically unfolding, we're now the bad guys. And I do actually see... And I guess that's why you're now making this prediction or concur with me that you've been seeing it. They're more and more saying, well, Ron Paul stands to gain from everything falling apart. You know, and it's his talk causing this. And I get emails saying, you know, you're the reason the markets are going down. No, it's not Jamie Dimon and Blank Find and, Paulson and all these guys. It's not the trillions in derivatives and the trillions they've gotten in their $100 billion bonuses. No, it's our fault, Gerald. So we've gone from pessimist porn and people that are just crazy to now telling people there was an iceberg. It's our fault we're hitting an iceberg. I don't see that working, though. I mean, you already have the Federal Reserve wildly unpopular. The people are already very angry at the banksters. I don't see it working. What do you, in the last 4 minutes we've got, top trends researcher out there, where do you see this going now? It's clear they're not going to reverse any of the policies. We're going over the edge. So what's the time frame?
I've never seen a summer like the one we just went through, with the volatility in the markets, the rise of gold so rapidly. This usually doesn't happen in the summertime. It happened actually to a bit in 2007. And that's what actually was one of the reasons why I had predicted the panic of '08 in the summer of 2007. What happens now is that everyone's off their holiday, particularly in Europe. Reality's setting in. Third quarter reports are coming in. So look for the real crash to become a winter of discontent. Markets tend to really dive in October. Remember, they're going to do everything they can. We know it's a rigged game to keep propping it up. But I believe that by the end of October, early November at the latest, the handwriting will be on the wall. We didn't go into a double dip recession. They will now begin to say depression. But again, there's so many wild cards. And the wild card to look at is the wild card of distraction. And that's going to come in the form, I believe, of something that they will label terror or war, some other fear and hysteria kind of moment to detract the people's attention away from the economic crisis.
I have to agree with you. So all of the craziness we've seen, you're basically saying is just a prelude or like birthing pains to the real finale. And what is this system going to give birth to? Just an absolute collapse?
Yeah, it's collapsing. You're going to start seeing more and more. Look at the numbers. The gap between the rich and the poor is the widest in the U.S. than any of the industrialized nations. 47 shootings in New York this past weekend. Oh, no,
there was just some other big shootings. I was going to bring that up. A building just got shot up in H&R Block. People are just getting desperate and going crazy.
Exactly. And it's happening worldwide, by the way. This isn't just a U.S. phenomenon. But look what they're doing in the U.K. Look how they're cracking down.
You know what, Gerald?
That's what they're going to do everywhere. And that's what we're trying to say, Alex, is that the worse it gets, the harder they're going to crack down on us. And they'll blame, the looters and the hooligans and none of the economic issues. The sheep will all clap their hands and look for protection.
Trends Research.
And they're going to do what they did in Europe.
Trendsresearch.com. Gerald Celente.